How the new murid can keep his sincerity in the beginning. Okay. The sincerity comes with understanding your ego. Okay? The sincerity comes from knowing that you came from dirtiness and you come to somewhere clean. That we have no right to complain, to judge, to be upset, to be stubborn, to be arrogant, to be angry, to be stubborn. No. Right? A sincere person do not have these characteristics. Even a little bit, when you see that person is sincere, he does not have these characteristics. His face is open, his heart is open. Why his face and his heart, they are open? Because it is very strong to him knowing that he came from a mess, and by the rahmat and the mercy of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pulled him out from that mess through the hands of his friends. Who are we then? That one keeps his sincerity because he's always thanking his Lord. He's always saying, Astaghfirullah. Who are we that Allah is saving us? And Allah is saying, who am I that I'm sitting in the presence of a Shaykh, in the presence of an awliya? We are, he's keeping that. He's remembering. He's not thinking, well, I worship so much, I'm something. Now, I'm wearing a turban, I'm something. Now, I'm wearing a jubbah, I'm doing this, I'm something. He's always pushing himself, saying that, don't forget those days, you are nothing. Then that time, even if other things are going to hit at him, even if he's going to test him, he's going to remember quickly. I remember. He's going to say, how I was before, and now I meet, and Allah has given me so much blessings, and I'm thankful. The sincere man is always thankful. Never complaining. Thankful, he's going to count everything that Allah has given him and he's going to thank. And he's going to count everything that Allah has not given him and he's going to thank. He's not just going to thank what he gets. He's going to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for not letting him to get what he wants. You understanding? He's always thankful. It's impossible now if you're thankful to Allah and you're not happy. Because if you're thankful and you move yourself away from the door of complaining to the door of shukr, you're always happy. Even if something heavy comes to you, you say, as Allah likes. Allah doesn't have to give me. I do so many things. I deserve to be punished. I know that. But Allah has blessed me. Alhamdulillah. If I'm going to ask for every single thing that I deserve, then I'm also going to ask for the heavy punishment that I deserve. You have to be sincere. You have to be honest now. So you're going to say, as Allah likes. Maybe there is a wisdom behind this. There is a secret behind this. Let me sit and let me watch and let me think about my Lord. Why He has put me in this kind of situation. But the man who is putting himself in the door of complaining, even if he prays 5 times a day, even if he does all the zikr and he does everything, but he's always complaining, never he's going to be happy with his Lord, never he's going to be satisfied. If you are not happy with Allah, Allah will never be happy with you. What is that? Allah loves happy servants. Allah loves happy servants. Yes, but if you're always sour and Allah is not going to be happy with you. You have a right to be upset, yes. You have a right to be upset and sour and yes. To who? To yourself. To yourself. So, we have to put ourselves in these kinds of situations where you have people and words and a jama'at to remind you these things. We know these things already, but we forget because the dunya, now the dunya is pulling us 1000%. Before, it may pull us some. Because before the Muslims, we don't live the lifestyle of kafir. We don't even live next to kafir. Now we are sunk inside of it. And it's very difficult to pull ourselves away from that attitude, from that thinking, from those lifestyle. More necessary now to be in sohbat, because the sohbat is going to give you the ammunition. The ammunition against your ego, against the shaitan. No, this is not the time for what? Guns. It is not the time for guns. We are talking about a spiritual protection, weapons. But we need the ammunition, the spiritual ammunition. For that, sohbat is going to provide us that, inshallah. Then there's the time where we're going to be reminded, we're going to put this here, we're going to remember. Because the sohbat are the words of saints, the words of our shaykhs. It's not our words. And they're speaking with the direct permission, and they're speaking with the knowledge that is coming from the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So, that time you'll find yourself in safety. That time you'll find yourself more in sincerity. Not only for those who just came. I'm thinking this for a few days. I'm thinking those who have been in tariqat. 1 year, 2 years, doesn't matter. 10 years, 20 years. How are we going to put ourselves? Do we remember the passion when we first came into tariqat? Do we remember the trust? Do we remember the love? Do we remember the faith? We must remember that. Because sometimes years passing and we get into a routine kind of lifestyle. The ego is putting things there to make it look as if everything is now the same, robotic. It's still the ego. But every day it is different. And we felt that when we first came. We felt it sometimes. But now we must remind ourselves of that. Don't forget that time. Don't forget when our heart was beating when we are entering into the Dergah. Don't forget that time when we are shaking and we're in the presence of our Shaykh. Don't forget that time when we're crying because, alhamdulillah, we found a group of believers to worship with. We must remind ourselves that. We must put ourselves to remind ourselves, because man forgets. If you remind yourself, then you're not going to forget. Then more that passion and that spirit is going to be there, inshallah. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha.